I'm talking about. Fucking Big L, mini beats as well. Giving them hell. Nah, I ain't playing with y'all. Hey, listen, this about that time, you know what I'm saying? It's time to settle down. Get your little drinks and snacks. Find some white people to laugh belligerently around. You know what I'm talking about? It's a cool out corner, boy.
Cool Out Gang, welcome back. Another beautiful episode of the Cool Out Corner podcast. I'm your host, Big L, my brother Pork, and of course, Miss Minnie Meegs.
Hola.
Jordan brung us a doctor today, and not Dr. Seuss.
Real doctor.
Can you introduce yourself, ma'am?
Yes, so my name is Mireille Blanchette. So I'm a podiatrist and I work in New Jersey, and I'm very honored to be on the podcast with you guys today. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for
We're
coming
glad to
along.
have you. But I gotta ask you something, because we've been talking just a little bit before we started, and you got this accent. Where is this?
So I'm French Canadian.
I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. Nice.
I caught that and I was trying to figure it out without asking, but I wasn't getting nowhere.
It's like I'm a mystery. People are like, wait, you have a French name, but your accent is not French from France. They're like, are you like Eastern European? What are you? And I'm like, no, I'm French Canadian. They're like, there you go. Now I know.
Gotcha.
So,
It really is.
so do you say a boot? No, just
No.
Okay.
Or like,
yeah.
Okay, so can you tell the people about you and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a podiatrist, basically a foot doctor. So like I said, I just a little, background story about me. I went to podiatry school in Canada, and then for you guys who don't know how to become a podiatrist, or like what's the schooling that we have to do. So basically it's 4 years of, so usually, in the United States you have undergrad, and then after that you can go to podiatry school, but like in Canada it's a little bit different. The school system is different. So I basically, when I started podiatry school, it's 4 years of podiatry school. And then in Canada, you can just, after you're graduating, you can just start working. So then that's what I did. So I graduated in 2009, and then I worked over there for a year, but then I really wanted to do surgery. So in order to do surgery, you have to do a residency, but we don't have residency for podiatry in Canada. So then I came here in New York, actually. So I redid the last year of podiatry school at the New York College of Podiatric Medicine. So that was from 2010 to 2011, and then I graduated. So I had my American diploma, which opened the doors to, boards and then residency and everything. So I did my residency in the Bronx at Montefiore. And then the goal was to go back to Canada. So that's 3 years of residency. But then I met my husband, and then we got married, and then I'm here. So I graduated in 2014. So I was working in Princeton, which is about an hour away from where I live. And so we had a son in 2017. And so, I was still commuting an hour each way and everything. And it was, it was fine. It sucked a little bit, but, it was okay. And then in 2021, we actually had twin girls. So when I went back to work after, I was like, yeah, it's not going to work. So I quit over there. It was really hard. I was a partner over there. But it was a really hard decision. But like I decided to quit and then to start my own office, which is now 5 minutes away from home. So
that is dope.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I started in June. It hasn't been a year yet, but it's great. I love it.
Well, congratulations, first off.
Yeah.
So was it hard for you to start your own Was it hard for you to start your own business doing this?
Yes and no. I mean, it was exciting. What was the hardest thing was before I actually started, like to set up everything, because my daughters were younger, and then we didn't want to start daycare yet because my son was in daycare, and then we only had one salary now because I wasn't working anymore. So then to have like 2 other babies in daycare would be like, it's so expensive. So so they were with me at home when I was trying to do everything. And then, I'm trying to be conservative because we had to renovate like my whole office. So, like I was trying to like I don't know, like save on other things. Let's say I was doing my own website, or I was doing like a lot of things on my own, and then, you know, like getting like talking to insurances and stuff like that. So it just so all that while taking care of babies, twin babies, was difficult. But
Yeah.
and it's worth it. I'm really happy to you know, have my office. And then that's when I started, you know, being more active on like social media, and then like on Instagram and things like that. And that's how you guys reached out to me.
Yeah, because I seen her on, I think it was TikTok.
Yeah.
And
So
go ahead.
so it's funny because so I was more like Instagram, like when I started, even before my office opened, like so I was doing reels and videos and stuff like that. And then I don't know, like it was good at some point. After that, it kind of like plateaued. And then I don't know, I started like, I was doing a little bit of things on TikTok, not too much, but so a few weeks ago, I did like an ingrown nail procedure, and then like I, you know, taped it. And then I put it on TikTok, and it went viral. It's like at 4.4 million views now. And then it's just like, so yeah, I got like so many like new followers. So now I'm like more TikTok now. I'm doing Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok can bring in the people, honestly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think I seen that video, and I was just like, that's one of the things that scared me the most. I'm like, these ingrown toenails is something fierce. Like, I don't see how do people get that? Like, how does ingrown toenails actually happen?
Yeah, so most of the time it's from genetics. So, you know, like a lot of time, like it's a family history. Let's say like the dad, the mom, or whatever, like had ingrown toenails, and then the nail is like curved, and then whenever it grows, and then you're like trying to walk, it just pushes, like the ground pushes the skin into the nail that's, you know, like curved this way instead of being flatter, and then it just starts hurting. And then people, you know, like you always hear like, oh, cut your nails, you know, straight. Well, it's nice when you have a straight nail, but then when you have a curved nail, even if you cut it straight, you're still gonna have that discomfort a lot of times. So then you kind of have to cut in the corner. So then, you know, like, and then sometimes you're a little in the corner, and then sometimes you miss a piece, and then there's something in there, and then just kind of like a vicious circle. But a lot of time it starts for genetic, either like a really curved, or just like, you know, recently I've had a patient, I put the video on TikTok again. And the patient had like a very wide toenail. So it wasn't curved, but it was like really wide compared to his toe. So then we did the same procedure, which is basically like to numb the toe. A lot of people on the video were asking like, is the patient awake, or is the patient numb, or I'm like, yes. I'm like, you know, I don't want to torture people. Yes, of course I numb my patients. And then it's in the video, but like, I don't know, people just are like focusing more on the like, you know, pulling the nail part. And then so I'm like, yes, it's like, you know, it's under anesthesia, local anesthesia. And it's really well tolerated in the office. And then basically we just can numb the toe, so then you don't feel anything, and then remove the nail all the way to the base of the toenail, and then just kind of like remove it. And then we put medication in the wound, so that the root of the nail doesn't grow back anymore, that little portion. So then, you know, that's why we call it, it's a permanent toenail removal, basically. So that portion doesn't grow back anymore.
Have you seen that stuff? Have you seen the video before?
No, I haven't seen the video, but it sounded like she described it me, because I told her curving in a minute. I just need a pedicure for real. I ain't gonna.
Yeah. Is that are
pedicures really are pedicures really healthy for us, or?
So I don't know. So you have to find a place where you know for sure that it's clean. I'm a podiatrist. I don't go to pedicures because I've seen, you know, people coming to my office and then having like either fungus or whatever. Sometimes like they go and they dig too much to ingrown nails or whatever. And I have patients sometimes they go every 2 weeks, because if not, their toenails are hurting. I'm like, well, let's just do the procedure instead of you like spending all this money like every 2 weeks to get your like, you know, your nail cut in the corner. So there's a couple of things that, you know, I recommend sometimes, just to, let's see, we can bring your own instruments, so that you know nobody else's crumbs are on it, so it's just like your own stuff. Because I don't, you know, like to how I clean my instruments in the office, we have an autoclave, so that's the, you know, it's like high pressure, high temperature, everything is killed, and then we test our autoclave every week just to make sure everything is sterile, and then it's, you know, it's functioning. And then all my instruments are like, batched. So let's say like if inadvertently like something comes back, like my my like test that I do every week, if it comes back that it didn't kill what it was supposed to kill in the little envelope, that so we have to send that to the lab. Well, I pull out the batch that were made between the last test and that test. But then and I don't, maybe there are some pedicure places that are like as strict, but I don't know. And then let's say sometimes the instruments may be like clean, but then a lot of time I feel like they kind of take the to file, they take the file kind of like in the little drawer next to like in the cabinet, and then just file stuff, and I'm like, well, is that clean? So I don't know. So like I tell people sometimes, like bring your own things if you want to go, and then make sure that you find a place that's really clean, and then that they're not gonna not gonna be too aggressive also, because like you don't want them to go and then cause issues, because that happens often. That I have patients coming to see me, they're like, oh, I just had a pedicure a couple of days ago, and then now my toe is like really painful.
Yeah, how you feeling right now? Because you was Mr. Pedicure
I'm
King.
I'm a little nervous now, because I didn't think about that Fowler. I'm like, damn, that do be in that same drawer. So like,
Now you gotta start asking, hey, is that new?
Every board.
Yeah, I'm like, man, do y'all use Ajax or Comet? I'm a little nervous now.
So like I said, I mean, there are some places I'm sure that are fine, but it's just, I don't know. And then like I said, I've been 3 times to have a pedicure. So I've been on my bachelorette party, because my bridesmaids were like, you're weird, you never had a pedicure. And I'm like, yeah. They brought me, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's nice. But then like they're like, and I'm like, okay, it's everything. Like I'm like checking, make sure everything is good down there. The second time was before my wedding. I wanted to have like nice toenails, nice fingernails, whatever. And then the third time was when I was due on my due date for my son, because he came 2 weeks later. He just didn't want to come out. So
hold on, wait. So you got a pedicure before you had your child?
Yeah, I was like, that's what they're saying on you look online, they're like, treat yourself before the baby comes. I'm like, all right, let me just go get pedicure, manicure, do the whole thing, because I can't reach anyway. I was like all big and swollen, and I'm like, here you go, you do your thing.
That's crazy. Oh my God. Well, I mean, are you gonna go back now?
I'm gonna go back, but I'm gonna just be more like careful.
Or ask questions. Or bring
I'm definitely gonna ask questions now.
Board. Just be like, can you use this instead?
Yeah, they're gonna think I'm weird. Like you never ask questions. Why you asking questions now? I don't know. I just have some new information.
Yeah, it's information.
That's what I'm saying. I need to talk to their supervisor.
Podcast, and she told me that I need to start bringing my own instruments, because y'all may not be cleaning y'all stuff right.
Yeah.
So
now we gotta bring our own food supplies. Absolutely.
Oh, that's crazy. Me, you got any questions yet?
You know what? No, not really. I'm kind of just in here, because I like to get my toes done. So I'm like, because every nail place that you go into, it always appears clean. It appears clean. But now, I mean, I do watch what they be doing in there. But now I'm going to be really watching how they taking care of like even the towels and all that little bitty stuff, because it's just,
that's important.
It is, because I remember when I was working in a nail store, in a nail shop, and she just had like a little spray bottle, that you spray it all down with or whatever, and then that it was like some kind of chemical to kill whatever was done, and then you go in there and then you rinse the thing out and let the water out. But I never knew what was in that bottle.
That's what I'm saying. A spray bottle with no instructions is dangerous.
Right, because she just gave me the bottle. And she's like, here's the bottle. I'm like,
here, you spray this.
Yeah, she's like, I'll refill it. Don't worry about it. Wait a minute.
That's dangerous.
Put tap water in there.
But I'm telling you, I knew when I clean my stuff, I clean my bowls and stuff, because I mean, that's my setting. But yeah, I don't.
Dawn dish soap in there.
That is real soap. What would be the best thing to clean out a pedicure bowl, Dr. Blanchett? What would be the best?
I mean, so if it's for a like commercial use, or if it's like for
Commercial or even personal.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
is it different or?
I say
for
peroxide.
commercial, it would be like, I feel like the best way to know that there's nothing is an autoclave. Like you know, like you have to, I don't know, but like a bowl, like what's the bowl? Like what's
Right.
like
You said what?
what's the bowl? Like you're saying like the
You know, like they have the, you know, like the little pedicure bowls that you put to, you know, that might have jets that you could sit on in it or something.
like
Just
those
like
things. So
yeah.
I don't have that in my office, but I know there's some, you know, like special like things that you put in it, and then it has to, I feel like you have to make sure also that the water kind of like recirculate. It's not, it doesn't clean just this, like it cleans also the tubings and stuff like that are in there.
Okay.
But you know, there are, you know, cases of people having like bad infection from that, like from pedicures. Oh yeah, there's one. So I was in residency yet. It happened before I started, but it was a pregnant lady apparently in the Bronx, and then she had a pedicure, and then she got a raging infection, and she lost like a couple of toes and stuff like that. That, you know, like, it wasn't just
Were
a
you seeing my
fungal
face?
infection. Yeah, it was bad. And then I remember like, so I didn't see the infection itself because I guess it happened before my time, but then she was pregnant, and then when she had the baby, we, you know, like the whole podiatry team went to see her and the baby just to see how she was doing. So then I kind of, you know, met, I don't even remember like this is just kind of the story I remember, and I was like, wow, it's crazy, but that was after pedicure.
That's crazy.
I can't walk around like this
No,
at
that's
all.
it.
2
I
toes is crazy. Oh, I'm nervous.
I can't though. Okay, well, let me ask you. I use like bleach to clean it out. I have a spray bottle and I spray it down with bleach and wipe it. Is that safe?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm sure there's I think so. But like, you know, everything like, let's say medical terms, it's always like, okay, you need to have this concentration for this amount of time, that it's gonna make sure that it's gonna kill this. So I don't know like all the like specific like things.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then like I said, just not just that, but it has to make sure that it, you know, recirculate, cleans everything.
I looked up that autoclave, and unless I'm looking at the wrong ones, them things are expensive.
The pedicure bowls?
The autoclave you were saying. So yeah,
like the sterilizer stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's for the you know, for the instruments, like the small stuff. Like, so, you know, I use the peel packs. Basically, we just put everything. You know, when you go to the dentist, like they kind of open up the blue paper, so it's the same thing. But yeah, that cost like mine. I got refurbished because it was, you know, like it's certified refurbished. Everything is fine. You know, like guarantee for whatever how many years. But yeah, just because it's cheaper, because it's like, you know, $10, $11, you know, $1,000. Like it's
Ooh.
Hey, I'm gonna keep you in the chloride bit, dog.
Okay.
That's why I use bleach.
Crazy. So with you having your own office, is it just you in there, or do you have a couple other people in there too?
So doctor wise, it's just me, and then I have a medical assistant who does my receptionist also.
Okay.
So, and then I have a couple of friends that started also their office, and then they started just like on their own without anybody else. But then I started with her from the beginning, because I was like, once, you know, when it's not super busy at the beginning, I can at least kind of like, you know, train her on, you know, like putting a cast, removing a cast, you know, giving a boot, you know, stuff like that. Just kind of like cleaning instruments, just to kind of like show her how I want things done. And then now that it's a little bit busier, like she's been used to do it. And then I think it's just easier this way. Because I have some friends, they want to wait to be busier to hire somebody, because they don't, you know, they want to have like a lower overhead. But to me, it was just like, I need somebody from the beginning to, you know, like, I don't want to teach them when I'm getting busy.
Like, how would you even have time to even do that? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Even now, like I still have a lot of notes to finish from this week, and I hired my husband also. He's my biller.
you gotta keep it in the family. It's only right.
Yeah.
Like who else is gonna make sure, who else is gonna be like more invested in my practice than me, or like, as invested as me.
That's true.
Husband, it's all goes at the same place. So, and he's a podiatrist too, by the way. So he's just kind of I don't know, tired of being a doctor. Like he's worked in like harder, like, area. Like he's worked in the Bronx. That's how we met. And then like in PA also, and there's not always like a lot of recognition, or like, people being like, oh, being thankful of their care and stuff like that. So I don't know, he's kind of like done. I mean, he's still working as a podiatrist. He's at the VA. He works with residents and stuff, but so he enjoys doing the billing. So I started doing it at first, and then I was like, when I got too busy, like I was getting behind and stuff. So I'm just like, you like doing stuff like that, I'm gonna hire.
Hey,
So I tell people that I'm his boss.
I bet he does like doing the billing.
Check our new finances out already. So what? Let me see. I'm see how I do this. Can you break down the importance of having healthy feet? Because I think people really just don't know, nor they really don't care.
Yes. So that's what I was saying, like before we start recording, like people, like I feel like its feet is like the least important part of the body for a lot of people up until it starts hurting, or up until it starts having issues. Because you're like, I don't know, my feet or whatever, but it's just so important because, think about it. Let's say like if you hurt, and one of my patients was saying that recently, if you hurt your hand, you can still do things. You can still walk. Like it sucks, but then you can still do stuff. If you hurt your foot and you can't walk on your foot, what are you gonna do? Like, you either like
in a wheelchair.
wheelchair, whatever, or like, like you can't walk. You have to like elevate your foot. It's complicated. So it's really important to take care of your feet, and then like prevention is like really important. And then, for a lot of different things. So there's kind of like easier things, let's say like mechanical issue, bunions, hemorrhages, plantar fasciitis, which is like, oftentimes like the heel pain or the arch pain and things like that, arthritis. But there's also, let's say, people that have diabetes and then they don't take care of their feet. And then, there's a lot of people that can end up with amputation and things like that. Because they can develop an ulcer, and then like it just kind of goes down the path, and then at some point you get infected, and then you get an amputation. And if nobody would get amputation, nobody would get issue with their feet, I wouldn't have a job. So it happens all the time, but like prevention is the key, because when it starts, let's say, especially for diabetes, like when it starts to like, you start having like bad circulation, you start having neuropathy, that you can't feel your feet, that's when problems happen. And then it's really difficult, and then it's life altering for a lot of patients, because like they come, let's say if they have a wound, they have to come and see me like every week in the office, because I have to like clean it up, put some type of medication, or figure out what to do, see if there's no infection and stuff like that. So it's just so much easier to kind of take care of everything before, so you don't end up there.
So putting feet in your mouth is bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Damn.
But very flexible if it's your own body. It's
no, not mine. I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn. In your mouth?
Not my feet. I'm just talking about.
No, I'm talking about you putting somebody's feet in your mouth.
I used to.
I don't think I would recommend that.
You see that look? Her whole face don't turn red. What you do? Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you can still have a foot fetish. You just don't want to put them in your mouth no more. You don't know what's going on down there.
That's crazy.
People like, do y'all actually scrub up under your toenails like you do your fingernails when you're in the shower? Because I know a lot of people don't.
I have, yeah.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you scrub your toenails?
What you mean you don't think? Either you do or you don't.
Oh, okay.
Well, Well, we know that answer.
But I don't have like no toe jam or nothing like junk shit. I don't have none of that under my toenails.
That's good.
I
just
got a
have-
bunion question though.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
you got like 8 of them.
But you know what? Okay, so like what kind of pain can you get from like bunion pain? Like from bunion? Or better yet, how would you even know if you have one?
So a bunion basically it's when the you have this weird bump that starts on the side of the foot, close to the big toe, and then oftentimes the big toe is gonna start to be deviated, towards the other guys, and then you have like this bump like coming out. So the pain can be like there's basically most of the time like about 2 or maybe kind of 3 different type of pain that you can have. You can have pain from the shoe gear, so basically because the bump is there and then it's rubbing in the shoe. You can have pain from the joint because the joint instead of being straight is like it's crooked this way, so then it's just going to be rubbing the wrong way. That can be painful. And then also sometimes you can have pain from the nerve because there's nerve, so there's one on the top, the dorsal medial cutaneous nerve, and then it goes there, and then I can get irritated also from the shoes and everything. So that can give you, it's a different type of pain because it's going to be like a shooting pain, sharp pain. And then that's also because the bunion is squeezing, the nerve between the shoe and then the bone.
What about in your legs or hips or anything like that?
So so that happens. Oftentimes that happens from 2 different things also. It can be from compensation. So let's say like if something is bothering you below and then you're like walking crooked, so then that can, there's some muscles that are going to be working harder than others, and then that can cause some discomfort like that. And then there's also let's say some patients can have back pain that can be related to their legs. So just recently to their feet. Just recently I had a patient coming for like orthotics follow-up because whenever I give, orthotics to put like the inserts put in the shoes, I have them come back in a month later. So then for her, she had, like mild, moderate bunions, and then, it's not hurting her too much, but I mean, she was using heels. I'm like, just decrease your heel height, and then, we're going to put this insert in your shoes. And then she comes back and she's like, oh, like my bunion is feeling better, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, and my back pain is gone. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, is that possible from the orthotics? I'm like, yeah, because, like everything is interconnected, like if you have the foot here. So if you have, like you're flat footed, let's say like, so this talus, the ankle bone is turning this way. So the tibia is turning this way. So the knee's turning that way. So the hip is turning. So that's causing a lot of stress on the back. That can be kind of like a nice, collateral, not damage, but a nice thing that can happen with like an orthotic or something like that to like decrease the back pain. But yes, like pain in, it's not just pain in the foot. It can be pain all the way to the back that can be caused from the foot issues.
Wow. Mickey, you got a bunion or something? What's going on?
Man, I have been having my podiatrist told me it was plantar's foot. And I did the water bottles. They had me take some stuff for inflammation and for my foot, and I did all that and nothing seemed to work. And I went back to the doctor and he suggested that, you just have to take more medicine. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm taking this medicine, but it's not getting any better. The pain is still in my calf and in my thigh. And it was hurting so much I was using so much of my leg that I could start seeing the muscle difference in my legs from, like you said, doctors, muscles being used in different ways. And I noticed that I was off. One leg was bigger than the other. And that was coming. But like I said, I haven't had the doctor tell me, hey, it's a bunion. So I had to research myself and find out what it is and what's causing this pain. So I went and tried to get like stuff from like Walgreens, stuff like that, just to help it. And problem is that the ones that fit inside the shoe don't help as well as the ones that you wear without the shoe. It's like, darn it. So when I put the shoe on, it doesn't fit. So I can't wear that.
Yeah, so that's why. So I make my orthotics very small, usually to, depending on what's the issue. But I mean, so I just have some samples here. But I'd say like I try to make them like smaller, something like this that just goes in the, in the shoe instead of being like the long ones. Because sometimes it's like you see over the counter, it's like the full, thing that goes just in sneakers. And I tell patients, I'm like, I don't want you to just wear your orthotics and your sneakers. I want you to use them in, all of your shoes as much as possible, because if not, it's not gonna help. Like if you use them just when you go to the gym and you go to the gym 3 times a week for an hour, well, that's not gonna help, Similar when you're wearing glasses, you see well with your glasses, but like what if you were wearing glasses just, 3 hours a week? It's not gonna help.
Right.
Yeah. We should have had them little pads and our marching band boots.
Oh
We
man,
marched on
I used
concrete.
to have blisters and everything on my feet with them boots, bro. It was horrible.
It was bad. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Yeah, for sure.
I do have some questions for. I got a lot, but so me and my lady was talking, and she gets upset. Not upset, but I don't know. She thinks that I'm weird. I like to wear house shoes in the house. Is that bad?
I'm all for house shoes. I mean,
Yes.
it's
No, it's not bad.
especially, so it depends on, like what's the reason. If you're not comfortable because you have pain in your feet or something when you're barefoot or whatever in the house, well, wear shoes. And then like if it's, so in my house, my husband is Indian, and then we don't wear shoes in the house. But let's say like when I was cooking, that was before having kids, I used to be able to cook the whole Sunday uninterrupted. So anyway, so I had bought shoes that I was using in the house, and I was putting my orthotics in, because at the end of the day, my foot was hurting me, my feet were hurting. So I always recommend patients to either, like have a shoe that they just wear in the house, or they can be like sometimes like a slipper or something, like a sandal, something that like a nice arch. So I'm all for that. I'm like, I agree with you.
I just wanted you to say this so she can. I'm gonna go right to this part just so she can hear that, because she be trying to tell me everything under the sun about I shouldn't do that. I'm like, I've wore house shoes my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to change now. That's just me. That's how I was raised. That's how I came up. So
I think it's and then, do you wear socks or not in your house? And then what
I do sometimes when I'm at home. If I know I'm not going nowhere, then no, I will not wear socks in my house shoes. But then sometimes I do wear socks in my house shoes.
What do they look like? Is it like a slipper or is it like a shoe?
It's like a slipper, like a slide on.
Like a slide on. Okay.
Yeah.
Is why I'm asking. It's just because a lot of time, let's say I'm a big proponent of socks. There's people that just don't like to wear socks, and then it's just not good, because your foot's gonna sweat more, and then it's gonna be more sweaty, more smelly, and then you have more chance of having like fungus, because fungus, they like warm, humidity, and dark. So then in the shoe, when you're sweating, it's just a perfect environment to like kind of brew and stuff like that. So that's the only like it depends of the, like I said, the type of shoe that you have. But let's say like little I don't know, like sometimes like a little moccasin or something like that, like it can be, your foot can be sweaty. So I would recommend to just like maybe
Okay.
What about like Hey Dudes? If you like Hey Dudes. Like Hey Dudes, you know what Hey Dudes are? They're like a moccasin without.
Yeah, they are like a moccasin. They don't have all the cushion on the inside like that though. Like a kind of like a Sperry.
I would still wear socks. I just recommend socks, or like like a small one that just covers, because I know I've tried, like sometimes like I would wear some shoes, like some flats without any socks, and then it just my feet get just so smelly and sweaty, and it's just, I don't know, I just don't like it.
I asked because I see a whole lot of Skechers commercials, and them people don't be having on no socks with those shoes.
Yeah.
Back after the commercial.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I'm a sock person. I think it's really, and then also like the shoes, they get really dirty like really quickly. I had a patient when I used to work over there. He was diabetic, and he would come for his diabetic shoes, every year. And then so like when you're on Medicare, let's say, you can get diabetic shoes if you meet the requirements, like every year, like if you have neuropathy, and then you can feel your feet, blah blah blah. But then so he would come, and then he would not wear socks ever because he had issues with his hips or something, so he couldn't put them on. So then let's say he got the shoes, and then he came to see me like, I don't know, like a few weeks later, a month later. They were already like super gross the inside. They were like black. And I'm like, you have to wear socks, please wear socks. Because you know it's much easier to wash your socks than to wash your shoes, right?
Yeah, that's true. Ugh. Okay. Please wear socks, y'all. And there's a lot of people who do not like to wear socks. That's true. I've seen a lot who don't wear, and I be looking at them like, why don't you wear socks? Like, y'all got y'all shoes really stinking around here.
Yes, and then you know, I know. So okay, a lot of people are like, oh, how can you be a podiatrist? It's so gross to deal with feet all the time. And then you know, I'm fine, and I smell a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things like that. I'm sure
I was going to get to that too, so don't worry.
Yeah. So, but I know my nose know if you're not wearing socks because it's a different smell. It's like I've dealt with infected ulcers, like stuff like that. But like when you don't wear socks and then you come to the office, it smells different, gross. I don't know. So socks are different. And then there's a lot of people that don't wear socks also it's in Uggs, but it's the same thing. It's just like, and it's so like fluffy and warm, and I'm like, if your foot's gonna swell, it's gonna stink, and then it's just gonna get all stuck in the material. Just wear socks.
That's a quick way to get fungus, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yes.
Uggs without socks is crazy.
You said what?
Uggs without socks is crazy. Like,
bro,
no
I know a few people.
So many people wear socks with wear Uggs without socks. So many people. And like,
I can see like, okay, I know now I know it, you know, of course you need to wear socks, but there are some like the Hey Dudes and some Uggs that are like kind of like the moccasins. I can see, you know, you not wearing socks. I get it. I do know your feet gonna stink and all that and swell up. I get that. But I guess sometimes I'll be looking at things like a fashion deal, like the socks don't even go, you know, with the outfit. You know, I look and think about that.
But there's some socks, like they have like very small socks now that can just go kind of like on the toes and stuff like that. As long as you have something just to absorb some of that.
Because I was gonna ask, because like I wear my Hey Dudes, and sometimes I don't wear socks with my Hey Dudes, but I get Gold Bond powder and put them in my shoes. Or I ain't even gonna lie, I sprayed my feet with deodorant before. Like spray deodorant, I've done that.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing to do also. I don't like the powder because I feel like the powder is just like
it gets on your ankles and it makes you look ashy. So you gotta be careful with powder. Yes, but the deodorant works great.
Yeah, and then it stays in your shoes. I'm not a fan of powder, but the spray usually so I recommend that also. That or like even like just the regular like deodorant, like not deodorant but antiperspirant bar.
Oh wait, because I use the actual deodorant.
Yeah,
I use actual spray Dove deodorant.
Yeah, her feet smell like Dove in secret.
Hey, they smell good and they did not stink when I took my shoes off.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's the antiperspirant, like, and then I'm sure that's what it is. That's fine because you know that I tell people I'm like, if you're just gonna smell good, it's just gonna sweat. But because it's when people come and see me for fungus, so that's what we talk about. So we talk about like few things to change, and then to kind of like help the environment. You know, the warm, humidity, and dark. The only thing that you can't really control the warmth because it's your body temperature. The dark, I mean, it's in the shoes, so you can't put lights in there. And then, like but the humidity you can control it, so that's why you can like decrease the your perspiration by using antiperspirant.
Hey.
Okay, you want to ask that question about the grass, walking in the grass?
Yeah, so I've been hearing some people saying like walking bare feet in the grass is actually good for you.
So I recommend more like I feel like in kids. So in kids they still have their like nervous system that's like developing and things like that, and then they need to have like a lot of like stimuli from like the ground, and then like to like make connections, stuff like that. So that it's fine, but then still, that being said, my kids are not walking barefoot in the grass because where are you gonna just find like a patch of grass that there's like nothing else inside? Because like you said, I'm a foot doctor, so I've seen a lot of things, and then I've seen people coming with an infection because they stepped on something, and then like they got a splinter, they got like a foreign body or something like that, and then they get into an issue. So then, we're like barefoot, let's say in the house and stuff like that. But as soon as we go outside, we wear shoes. I remember like when I was in the Bronx in residency during the summer, it was crazy. We had so many people with like foreign bodies in their feet, and then like, infection, and then they have to be admitted, then have to like, like cut them open and stuff like that. And like sometimes like I remember one of them was like a little boy, and I'm like he was so tiny. Like his foot was like about this big. And then he had like community acquired MRSA, like, that's what came out in the culture. And just because he was walking barefoot, I'm like, people wear shoes, please, wear shoes. So, there's, and then you go online and then there's all those like, like the barefoot people. And then, so I'm not really like that. I mean, I'm sure there's ways that you can train your foot to be stronger and stuff like that. But I know that's not what I was taught. That's not how I learned it. That's not how my foot works either. I have bad feet, and then I do better when I'm supported and things like that. So I don't know. I'm more towards the let's protect our feet. Let's prevent things to hurt ourselves, and then let's just we're not in like millions of years ago. I don't know when did the human race like start evolve? But like we didn't have the environment that we have right now. Like people didn't have shoes or stuff and stuff like that. But they were used to be outside. They were their feet, I feel like, were stronger. But like I don't feel like it's necessary now. And then it's very different. You have to like protect your feet from like piece of broken glass on the floor, like a nail or something like that. See, it's a different environment. And then I just, like you said before, prevention is just so much better. So I'm a big proponent of you wear shoes. You go outside, wear shoes, because you just don't know what's on the floor.
I feel so. You don't understand how glad you are saying these things, because I had these arguments every summer, and I'm like, nah, I wear shoes outside. I don't do the bare feet thing out there. I can't do it.
I used to run barefooted, so I had to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm guilty.
But I turned out great though. I never got no uki-aki or nothing.
Me neither.
Well, let's not continue to get no uki.
No, I don't
Wait a
do it no
minute.
more.
Hold on. You know
We
what
don't
they
want
used to
that.
say? You know what they used to say when we was little? Like when you went outside with your shoes up, they said it's gonna make your feet big. You don't remember that?
I never heard that one.
Yes, my grandma used to say it's gonna make your feet big. Is this true?
Oh, to go with the shoes or without the shoes?
Without the shoes. Walking
Really?
outside without shoes make your feet big.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, good.
I've never heard
I'm
that.
like wondering like what mechanism would do that. But I don't know.
Just too much sodium.
Then I think that was just
Yeah.
something she used to tell us to make us put our shoes on. I don't know, but yeah, I do remember her saying that your feet are gonna be big.
Too much salt. That's all. Cut back on the salt.
Cut back on that salt.
It does not shrink. Well, I guess it will if they swollen.
Which is hard.
Okay, so with having flat feet, is there like a specific kind of like cushion to put in your shoes?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different, if you go on Amazon and stuff like that, there's just so many different inserts that you can get. And then I don't know all of them. I'm sure some of them are good, but I think like the best thing to do is just to go see, you can try some stuff over the counter. So let's say Dr. Scholl's in the Walgreens and stuff like that. It's not as supportive as something else that you can find like at the sporting goods stores, or even on Amazon. They have some that are more supportive. But when in doubt, just go to the podiatrist, and then they can take a look at your foot and then just say, recommend something, or sometimes also just do something custom molded. So that's what I prefer, just to something custom molded. It's usually like, and then sometimes the insurance covers it, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the insurance and then the geography, I think. I mean, in New Jersey, it's pretty good. Usually a lot of the insurance covers it. So, I just kind of mold the foot, and then I put it in the position it's supposed to be. Like the patients are lying on their stomach, and then I just put everything how it's supposed to be. And then, so you have a mold, and then you just send that to the lab, and then they make the orthotics. And then I put the specifics of whatever is needed. Let's say like if it's somebody that has like, pain in the front of the foot, I can put like a little metatarsal pad. It's called a little cushion here. If it's just, let's say, plantar fasciitis or like bunions or something that we just need to control the support. So that's when I'm going to do something more like just the plastic piece, basically, that's going to be molded for the foot.
I never knew that.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with my insurance probably trash to even do that. I have to pay out of pocket.
Your co-pay $800.
Right.
Right.
I did not know. You learn something new every day.
Every
Okay,
day.
so I do have some questions from a nail tech that she wanted to ask or whatever. So with her having to do, because she does a lot of how can I say this? Whatever. She does a lot of older people's feet. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, and I guess a lot of them have a lot of ingrown nails, and they want her to take them out. But she always says you need to go to a podiatrist. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I get what I can, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. So she wanted to know, should nail techs do that, or should they just always turn them to the podiatrist to do that?
So I think it depends to what extent also, you know, like if it's just like, you know, clipping it a little bit in the corner because patients, you know, like the clients, whatever, can't reach down there, you know, I think it's okay. If they're like, dig it more, no, like, you know, go to the podiatrist. And then it's just because, you know, you can have complications, you know, like what if, you know, something gets infected and stuff like that, you know, they're not going to be able to deal with that because they're not trained for that. So I think it's what she's doing is perfect to refer to the podiatrist, you know, like if it's just a little bit, just a little filing, little cutting, I think it's okay. But more than that, just refer out for sure.
Okay. And then I guess another one was, she was wanting to say, in the African American community, acrylic toenails are a big thing.
Okay.
And she wants to know what your opinion is on that. Should they get acrylic on the toes or not?
So it depends why, you know, if it's like because sometimes people put acrylic because they have, let's say, a fungus or something, they have something underneath and they want to hide it. Well, let's just cure your fungus, you know, instead
of fungus. What are we doing?
Let's just like fix your nail instead of just hiding it with something. And then also like, so, you know, it's not super healthy in the fact, in a sense that it's like adhering to the nail. And then if it's like repetitive, you know, if it's like once in a while, let's say you have an event and you're like, you know what, let me get nice toenails. I don't care, just whatever, just do. But if it's always, it's not good because it's just gonna damage the nail. And then it's just, I'm not a fan. If it's, like I said, if it's to cover something that's an issue, let's just fix the issue. Just go to the podiatrist. Can help you.
No acrylic all the time and no sucking toes. Got it.
Yeah. How you feeling after that?
Her day.
It's getting weird though. It's getting weird though.
Massage their feet, that's all you can do, bro.
That's it.
I'll just look at it. That's all.
Oh, you don't want to massage your feet for her?
Yeah, I'm massaging.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, come on now.
I gotta check under toenails now. I gotta do all the, you know, the proper steps. Make sure no fungus under there.
Right.
I got a question for y'all. I got a question for you, El. Let's say you know, go out on a date with somebody and, you know, y'all go back to nightcap at your spot, okay? And, you know, y'all get to the crib and, you know, she turns on some music. She's like, well, you know, she asks, I turn on the music or whatever. And the next thing you know, she's like, do you mind if I kick my shoes off? And you're like, no, go ahead. And she takes her shoes off and her feet are just raunchy. What did you do?
Have a good night.
You said what?
Immediately have a good night.
No, because she's gonna say, what? Why would you say that? You gonna be like, because your feet stink?
I like feet though. So if you coming to me
So
like
you
that,
take them stinky?
no.
Oh,
I like when they're kept up. That's what I'm saying. Have a good night.
you wouldn't be. That is so mean. You wouldn't do it like that.
You need to refer her to the closest local podiatrist.
I'm going to refer her to Dr. Blanchard right here.
Well, wait a minute. But wait a
Get
minute,
that
so you
checked
ain't
out.
gonna tell her that her feet stink? You just gonna let her just think that she did? You
First
don't know
off,
what she did.
why wouldn't she know that her feet don't stink? I know
Maybe
she.
she
If I
knows
can smell it,
blind.
I know she can smell it.
Man, maybe she knows blind.
Ain't no way.
No way. No way. No way. And now
I'm
you
like,
messing up my good
somebody.
part.
Why your you got athlete feet? Like what's going on? Why your feet stink? What's the problem?
Man, I have been in a room with someone. It wasn't my guy, it was somebody else's guy, but we was just chilling, waiting for him to come home so we could leave. And he kicked off his shoes. Oh,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was across the room and I was turned the other way and I
Yeah,
smelled
construction worker.
it and I turned around like Freddy Krueger was behind me. Like, what the hell was that smell? It was his feet. Oh, and he went and got in the shower. No, so he goes to take a shower, right? Because he needs to definitely take a shower. Everybody's sitting there with the nose like, oh.
You gotta throw them boots away.
But he left the shoes. He got mad at me because I set the shoes outside on the porch.
On the porch where they belong.
Yeah, get them like air out a little bit.
Yeah,
most people do not let their shoes air out. I feel like you should do that, and they do not do that.
I heard you're supposed to spray them with alcohol and then set them outside. Is this true?
I don't spray them with alcohol. I have a spray. I mean, you can do Lysol. Let's say it kills, bacteria, viruses, and stuff like that. I have something that I have in the office here that whenever I treat people with fungus, I'm gonna recommend them. It's called Clean Sweep, and it's with nano silver, which is just it kills everything. And then also like for the smell, it's gonna really help. So just like once a week, just like kind of spray it whenever there's fungus. And then if it's like for stinky shoes, usually you spray it until you don't smell it, and then after that you just kind of like whenever it starts to smell again, you can just like spray it again. And it's funny because at the beginning of when I just started the office, I had 2 sprays like like that were given to me like samples from like 2 different companies, and I'm like, oh, let's try them out because my assistant had stinky feet or like stinky shoes. So like we tried that. So we had a left one and then a right one, and then we sprayed both sides. And then the one that I carry, that's the one that works. The other one just didn't work. It was just kind of like, it smelled like alcohol-y, but like it wasn't taking care of the smell. And then once we like, we were like using a lot of that blue spray like in it, and it was not working. So we used the other spray, just like, and it was like, the smell was gone. It was like magic.
Odor eater.
Yes, an odor eater.
I'm surprised the boots didn't walk away on that porch.
You said what?
I'm surprised the boots didn't get up and walk away on that porch.
And he left.
You went mute.
And now you gone. Okay, she's back.
So I know for a fact, well, I don't know. So I'm gonna ask you, do you have to have a strong stomach to be a podiatrist? Because I know for a fact that there are some feet out here that is out of this world.
Yes.
Crazy.
So yeah, you do. I mean, to me, it's everything is just like, I don't care whatever I see. Like I've seen a lot of things. So like nothing really bothers me, but yeah, it's something I think you have to think about. But it's funny because when I was young, like I really liked animals, and then I was like, oh, maybe I can be a vet. But I was like really, really young. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't like blood. And I was like scared of blood and stuff like that. And now like I'm a surgeon, and I do like, I deal with like, gross feet and like ulcers and stuff like that. And I don't mind. Like it's just how it is. Like I don't.
I salute y'all. I really salute y'all. Cause I watch those My Feet Are Killing Me and all those on TLC, and I just be like, some of these feet, I don't know how y'all do it. Cause look,
I understand because I've lived a manicure pedicure life. So, and I'm talking about me giving manicures and pedicures because I'm a licensed Cosmo. So we give manicures and pedicures, and I have come encounters with some feet that I have been like, oh my God. Yeah, I have. Yeah. One gentleman in particular. Oh,
Jason.
It was horrible. Yeah,
Sound
it
like
was.
a Bob.
He was a customer.
Talking
He was
Bob.
a customer. He was a customer at the store, and the lady must know because she was like, "You take him," and I'm like, "Oh, you know." So
It's yours.
yeah, she's like,
Oh,
"He's yours." I'm
bad.
like, and when he took off his feet didn't stink or anything. He wasn't stinky, but he had all this dead skin, and it was just, it was thick. It was thick, and I was just like, "Where are my gloves?" Because I'm not doing anything until I put some gloves on. And so, Doc, I understand. I do. And clipping them toenails, you have to be careful. 'Cause they will put
Do you wear
knives.
glasses when you clip toenails?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I was clipping somebody's nails in the middle of pedicure, and I was close, and the nail flew back and hit me in my lip. Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's why when I cut the nails, I always do, I put where I'm supposed to go, and then I kind of like, I squeeze just a little bit, just to make sure there's no skin or anything, because, the patient's going to be like, I've been doing this for quite a while, so then I'm fine. Usually, so like, I do this, and then I put my thumb on it. So then whenever if it shoots out, it doesn't, it stays there. Because it has happened a few times. It's been to, in my hair a few times. And then it's weird because you like clip it and you feel it in your hair and you're like, all right, what should I do? Should I just do this while the patient is there? Or should I just like act like nothing happened? And my bra once, when, sometimes like hit the, stuff like that.
Yes,
so that doesn't really happen anymore because we've been like using a lot of masks. I mean, lately not too much in the office, but so with COVID, it kind of like decreased the.
Right. I've gotten, that was in school when I was still in hair school at the time when that happened. But now, when I clip, I cover the toe. That way I can, and I clip just a little bit and then continue on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I just don't. Because if not, they're just gonna fly everywhere, and it's
everywhere.
And then like it's gonna be hard to clean also. Because there's somebody I've used to work with before, and then like apparently when you would go in the room after like she had clipped some toenails, they were kind of all over the place. And then like people were asking me like, "How are you so clean?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just like clip it and then like the nails, and then I just kind of drop it at the same spot, so." It doesn't go all over the place, but yeah,
because they flip everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
No, I can't do that job. I salute you very well. This is a job I could not see myself ever doing, like ever in life.
Not all
So
heroes
you
wear
trying to
capes.
tell me
You're right.
you wouldn't paint some toes for $100 and clean the toes and scrub them and massage them for $100?
I've done pedicures before. Camille, she showed me and taught me how to do it. And I've done hers, but I know her feet's okay. Anybody else's? Probably not. No.
I know when you're a podiatrist, there's no like discrimination. It's not like, open your, let's remove the shoes and socks. Your feet are not pretty enough for me. I'm sorry.
I didn't say podiatrist because I don't want him fixing none of my bunions or any of I don't want him fixing nothing. So that's why I stuck him in the manicure and pedicure.
Oh my God. Just for that, you upcharge.
I'll do it myself.
Okay, that's even better. But okay, so I do have a question about mine, and I just want to hear your suggestion. Okay, so this happened back in 2009. Okay. We're in 2023 now. Okay. So I've always had an issue, and I thought that it was like a callus on my foot or whatever. And I went into the doctor and they like used a scalpel and like, scraped it out or whatever. Felt fine, but it kept coming back. Like, over the years, it's still there. So then I went to the doctor, I think last year, and I think he said it was like I had like clogged sweat glands on my feet. So these things hurt. Yeah. Like hurt. And so he was telling me that it was like an outpatient surgery or something like that to, take it out and all that stuff. How long is the recovery process? Because he said 2 weeks. Is it actually 2 weeks or is it shorter than that?
So depending what he's doing, like is he talking about like putting sutures in or just kind of like
yes. Yeah. Okay.
So usually, so the skin usually heals within 2 weeks. So that's
Okay.
the 2 weeks thing. And was it saying not to walk on it for 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. So usually when it's sutures on the bottom foot, usually I tell my patient 2 to 3 weeks because it's the bottom of the foot. So then I want to make sure that whenever if we remove it, that we're just gonna
Is surgery the only way to get rid of bunion?
to get rid of them. Yes.
Or like if you're having a problem? Because I go to the doctor. How do I tell this? Because I go to the doctor Tuesday. I need you to tell me how to tell this man I think it's a bunion. Because I've been dealing with this for since 2016. This is how long I've been dealing with this pain.
So but where's your pain? Like what's happening?
It's in my leg and it's in my back. It when I waitress, so I walk all the time. And I could probably be maybe 30 minutes into my shift and my leg will start giving out, or not giving out, but it'll start hurting. And it just hurts all the way up my leg.
Just one side.
Just one side. So,
and then do you have a bunion? You have a bunion on that side?
I have a bunion on that side.
My
doctor a long time ago, when I was pregnant with my daughter, he told me to wash the toe. Now my daughter's 8 years old now. This probably, like I said, started back in 2016. So probably about when she was born in 2015, probably about a year after she was born. So
do you have a bunion on the other foot?
Yeah, but it's not as bad.
So sometimes when it's something like unilateral, like just on one side of the body, sometimes you might have a leg. I mean, I haven't seen it, but sometimes you might have a leg that's longer than the other also. So then that leg, that foot kind of collapse more to try to compensate. Like I said earlier, everything is related, right? Everything is interconnected. So if you're collapsing down, it's gonna lower your hip. So your body's trying to compensate for, okay, not you, but let's say somebody that has a long leg, the body would try to compensate to put the pelvis straight and things like that. And then that can cause a lot of back pain or a lot of neck pain, of issue on one side. So every time it's like that, just you can be why is it happening just on one side? And then, I notice I have this bunion there. Is it possible I have a leg that's longer than the other? Just just throw it out there.
Okay.
And then usually,
I need my leg fixed. I need my leg fixed. Yeah. My foot.
Yeah. And then maybe, if you feel like they're not really helping you, maybe just get another opinion.
Just get another one. Thanks, Doc. Second opinion right there. She told me to get another opinion because you're not fixing it. So yeah.
Hopefully when you go in there Tuesday or Thursday, whenever it is.
Tuesday.
Let us know what he said, because now I'm curious. Now she done said something, broke some things down for you. You should go in there and well, actually, somebody else said something totally different. So you need to get the ball rolling.
Okay, I need to check everything.
I have patients that come sometimes and they come for something else, and then I just, they sit in the exam room and, I see that their foot is not, it's a slight difference of the length, of their leg, or they're not sitting the same. And I'm just make sure your back is completely flat against the back of the chair. And then I look just quickly at the malleolus, the ankle bone here, just looking.
No, I'm looking right.
I know.
Put that bunion down.
I'm trying. I'm trying to see.
And then, so I can't, usually I'm oh, it looks like maybe you have a leg that's longer than the other. And sometimes they're oh yeah, it was told before, or yeah, something like that. And then there's different ways of, assessing it. The best way that I found, I do a prescription for, it's called a CT scanogram. So it's kind of like a quick CT scan. You're, laying down, go into the machine, zoom in and out. It's not done in my office, it's somewhere else. And then the radiologist measures the femur and the tibia on both sides. And then we know for sure if there's a structural difference. And then it happens often. And then so if there's a difference, I put a heel lift on one side, and then it helps a lot. I have actually 6 millimeter difference in between my legs. And then I always used to have issues of my sacroiliac joint, my SI joint. I would walk and it would just crack. It wasn't hurting. At some point it started to hurt, but I was just it's weird. It's always happening. And then when I was in podiatry school, I went to an externship, and we did the, one study, and then we realized I had a difference, and I've been using a heel lift since then, and I don't have the issue anymore. went away.
Wow.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna sure tell
Yeah.
him all that tomorrow. Or Tuesday.
Make
Yes.
sure. Well, I do want to thank you for coming on. We gotta get out of here. Before we go, is there anything you want to say or any questions you have for anybody?
Not really. I think just, a summary of what we talked about earlier that's important for whoever is listening, just to, don't wait for your feet to start hurting you to take care of them. Just try to prevent anything. If you're diabetic, make sure you go see your podiatrist once a year, because people are really good at going to their endocrinologist, like the sugar doctor, and then
Mhm.
ophthalmologist for their eyes, but then sometimes they forget about the foot doctor. It's really important, like once a year. And then wear socks and shoes.
Save the feet, wear socks.
Take your message.
Well, wear them socks. Wear them socks.
Wear
Me,
socks,
what about
wear
you?
socks. And then if in doubt, if you have, like ingrown nails that just come back all the time, go see the podiatrist. There's some nice procedure that we can do to make you feel better.
What's that?
Noted. Luckily, I don't have ingrown issues, so I'm cool on that one. So
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Oh, and then one last thing also, like, I wish everybody knew that never be ashamed to go to the foot doctor. Like, no matter the state of your feet, if you think that they're horrible or something, we've seen worse. And then, we're there to help. Like, we don't care. Nobody's gonna be like, oh my God. It's just, that's just not how it is. There's so many people, they come and they're like, oh, I was so embarrassed. Like, like, that's why it took me so long to come. Like, don't be embarrassed. That's my job. Like, that's what I see feet all the time. This is
Yeah.
just, I want to help people feel better about, their feet, and then walking, and then, so just don't be embarrassed. Just go.
I like that. Mika, what about you? You got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I just want to say I've had so much fun. It was so fun picking your brain and getting little secrets of what to tell my doctor or ask my doctor, or what to look, what to spray on what and what kills what. And so it was very informational. So I'm very grateful for you to come on here today and let you share your wisdom with us. Yes, it's awesome.
I had a lot
That's
of fun.
beautiful. Yes.
And Elle, what about you, brother?
Well, next time I get a pedicure, I'm definitely either checking utensils or bringing utensils. I appreciate the knowledge. Thank you for coming to the podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No more toes in the mouth. I'm sorry.
No more toes in the mouth.
That's over.
You don't
The
get
life's
fungi
over.
in the mouth now. Uh-oh.
I just told old girl. Never mind. All right.
Horrible. He's the best.
Horrible. Well, I do want to thank you once again for coming on. I hope you had a good time. I thank you for all the information, because there's some things that I need to know, and there were some things that needed to be said besides me saying them. Now other people can hear it. And I do, for myself, I need to go and get this stuff took out my feet, because they are killing me every day. I think you had a video up on TikTok. It was something about a grown man with full tattoos but scared of the needle.
Yes.
That's what's getting me, is the needle, when they have to inject it to numb your feet or whatever.
So are they doing it in the surgical center or in the office?
It may be in the office. I'm not for sure. I have no idea. I didn't get that far. I didn't
Yes.
get that.
You should ask, because if there's sutures and stuff like that, I'm assuming maybe it's in the surgical center. So if it's there, so then you would be under sedation. Usually they put an IV, they give you some nice medication, and you drift to sleep, and then they fix your feet, and then it's better after.
That sounds even better. I don't
And
want
then
to
you
see
can ask also if there's some topical things. Sometimes there's some medication that you can use for warts that can be working also for that. That's not a surgery, that can kind of blister and then like bring the thing up. So maybe you can just kind of ask. Just anything else? There any like thing you can put on it?
Okay. I'm gonna ask for sure, because it's been going on since 2009, so I need to get it done. It's been long enough.
You can ask, like, just like, is there anything that we can put on it? There's to maybe,
right.
Because like I said, there's some stuff that we can put on warts sometimes that can be helpful for what you're having.
Okay, because when we were doing marching band, I was feeling every inch of that concrete on my every inch, man. It was hurting. But no, once again, I want to thank you for coming on. And y'all know the motto. We'll see y'all next Sunday. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, tune into the best now. I'm talking about fucking Big L, Mini Meeks as well. Giving them hell. Nah, I ain't playing with y'all. Hey, listen, this is about that time, you know what I'm saying? It's time to settle down. Get your little drinks and snacks. Find some white people to laugh belligerently around. You know what I'm talking about? It's a cool out corner, boy.